What's good, Cat Nation? It's your boy Cat, and I'm back with yet another snap. And we are about to react to this video by Jericho, and it's titled "Why Do Rich People Keep Pretending They're Poor?" Isn't it funny that the people that do got it act like they don't got it, and then the people that don't have it act like they have it? It's just a weird dilemma. But then yeah, I'm pretty sure it's about to talk about, I don't know, being humble and those sort of things. But yeah, let's check it out and see what he's actually talking about. Let's go.
There have been a lot of videos about influencers who pretend that they're rich, but what if I told you the opposite is true? That a lot of influencers are actually pretending to be poor.
I wasn't elite enough to even be invited to the Met Gala because I'm not elite. I'm a normal person. No, you're not.
In today's video, we'll talk about influencers who cosplay as poor, why they do it, and make some jokes along the way. I hope you enjoy the video.
Highest paid brand deal,
50,000
on one video.
At first, it might seem weird that
Damn,
influencers
50K.
pretend to be poor. After all, when we think of influencers, we think luxury, a rich lifestyle, somebody that you want to be, an amazing looking model with a designer handbag, somebody that you're kind of jealous of and envious of, and you want to recreate their lifestyle. So I totally get it that it's hard to believe that people are actually pretending to be poor online. But look, here's an example. I'm not lying to you.
I'm not elite. I'm a normal person.
How much do you pay for rent in New York?
We're inside a $17,000 a month apartment in Soho.
Let's check it out.
Guest bathroom.
The guest bathroom.
This is the best guest.
I've seen the New York City rent apartment TikToks, okay? That guest bathroom is about the size of some of those apartments.
Yeah, that's not
Options.
17K.
Second guest. That's guest bathroom number 2. There's 2 guest bathrooms.
That's not 17K.
Welcome. There's the closet.
Walk in.
Walk-in closet.
Primary suite with a walk-in closet, again, in New York City.
That's not 17K. I don't even live in New York City, dude. I'm South African, but I can tell you that is not $17,000 a month. They're lying. They're pulling one on us.
We have more comments.
Again, that room's the size of most apartments in NYC. And now it's time for the 3rd bathroom.
Bathroom, which is like one of my favorite places to spend time.
When Haley Bailey was getting canceled because she went to the Met Gala while we were all struggling with food and groceries, try to differentiate herself from those people who were at the Met Gala, saying that she was just in guest, that she wasn't really rich, that she isn't one of the
I think a lot of it has to do with trying to fit in, because obviously as a celebrity, or as an influencer, a lot of your followers are not celebrities or other influencers. It's just normal people like us. So you're just trying to fit in or make yourself relatable to us in a way that we just think that you're one of us, but you're not. We can see through the lies. So I don't get why people do that.
upper class of society, that she was just
Unless you're just humble. If you're just humble, then we can see that you're just being humble. But then the other lies of you just trying to fit in or trying to act like you're one of us, then we'll just see through that.
like us.
They not like us.
And that just like us mindset is one of the reasons that influencers love to pretend to be poor. There's another reason, I'll get to that in a second, but as influencers, we all have different brands. We all have different appeals. Some influencers have an appeal of being a luxury influencer, somebody you want to be like. There's somebody you want to model yourself after. You see this guy, he has a nice car, you want that car. You see this girl who has amazing makeup on and you want to buy that makeup. However, there's a different type of influencer that happens to exist. People who are relatable, that you want to be like. Instead of their vibe being rich and luxurious, it's somebody you know, somebody you can trust, a friend, somebody you like spending time with who's funny, just good vibes all around. Maybe a comfort YouTuber, for example. Money reinforces the first one and destroys the second. You can't be relatable living in a $17,000 a month apartment in the middle of New York with a great sky view while you're getting flown out to these crazy events like the Met Gala. You have to tone it down a bit. You have to appear a little bit poorer than you are. You have to keep that relatability. Anybody who lives in New York knows this view costs a crazy amount of money. Like, you're rich.
I knew it!
But she has to appear relatable. It's the same thing celebrities do when they get a part-time job at like Starbucks or Walmart. They have to get album sales out the door because they have to be more relatable to their audience. This is partially why Taylor Swift, even though she's a billionaire, seems so relatable, because she doesn't flaunt it in her face. It's not a part of her music. And then on the other hand, you have rappers who flaunt their extravagant, oh my God, their wealthy lifestyles and try to make you jealous of the fact that they have Lambos, Limbos, whatever. It's a nice compare and contrast. You're supposed to feel relatable.
Is that a Lambo? Is that a Urus? What is that?
The fact that they have
In the car community, there's this thing that they say, like, respect all builds. So no matter how the car looks, you shouldn't give your opinion on it, so I'm not gonna give my opinion on it. But that shit looks trash. I'm sorry. Just the mixture of the brown and the nah, it's not well, at least for me. Let me just say, for me, it doesn't look like. Nah, I wouldn't do that to my uterus. Have you seen Duke's latest video? That's what you do to a uterus. I'll put like a picture here so that you can just compare the two.
Lambos, limbos, whatever. It's a nice compare and contrast. You're supposed to feel relatable to Taylor Swift. You're not supposed to feel relatable to rappers and musicians, or you're supposed to relate to the fact that you both want a big car and a big house, and the only difference is that they actually got it. That's the relatability. You don't feel like they're one of you, if that makes sense. I don't think people who listen to Jay-Z see themselves in Jay-Z, but they just want to aspire to be Jay-Z. I think a lot of women see themselves in Taylor Swift, even though she is literally a billionaire, even though they're both billionaires. That's the difference, the relatability factor. I don't think it's bad because they're not really lying about it. I'll get to that in a second. But one of the biggest places you see this is actually in YouTube. And I'm not going to name any names because I don't like drama. I can think of one name, Bo Burnham. Even when Bo was on world tours and selling out albums and selling out shows, he still made his videos in this small little blue room. He still recorded his videos with the camera that had terrible quality and looked horrendous. Even in 2009, you could get a better camera. He had money for a better camera. He wanted the homie feel. He wanted the comfort feel. He wanted you to feel like you were hanging out with him in his room, and it was like a parasocial type of vibe. He's not the only person who does this. Mr. Beast famously doesn't record in 4K. His videos are not in 4K, even though he has the money and the camera equipment to do it, because you don't want it to feel like a blockbuster. You want it to feel personal in a way. That's the feeling of YouTube. Hank Green is another one. Hank Green has millions of dollars. Everybody
who watches Mr. Beast videos and thinks that they relate or it's close to them with all that production and that editing. But I guess
knows that Hank Green is successful, but his videos aren't high production quality. They're around the same as when he was making them 10 years ago. Nothing has really changed, even though he makes a lot more money now. And there's nothing wrong with that in this situation because they're not lying to you. Everybody knows Hank Green has money. Yeah. Everybody knows Mr. Beast has money. The difference between them and Hailey Bailey, though, is that she's lying to push a narrative so you feel comfortable with her so she can escape controversy, or she can sell you a product or a brand. With somebody like Taylor Swift is that her relatability is implied through her music. She never directly says that she's wealthy, or she never directly says that she's middle class. She just kind of leaves it up to the listener to put their own thoughts and feelings into the music. And then when she's involved with any type of controversy, she doesn't downplay her wealth. She's not out here saying, yes, I fly in private jets, but I'm not like one of those other celebrities. I'm like you guys, trust me. You should be mad at all these other celebrities who are flying.
And that's the problem when you want to appeal, or you want us to praise you for just being, how do I put this? Yeah, just to, the problem starts when you want us to praise you for just being normal, or you want us to praise you for not being flashy or not flashing things, and you want us to, you're trying to convince us that, oh, I'm one of you guys. Like, dude, if you're rich, you're rich. We know that you're rich. You don't have to lie to us. And the problem starts when you're lying, when you're trying to be relatable for the sake of lying, whereby it's not really what you do or how you move or how you live, and then we just want to, just for the sake of the optics and how people view you, then that's where the problem starts.
And the private jets, not me. I'm actually not that rich. She just ignores it and doesn't try to make a defense for it. She just lives her life. Unlike Hailey Bailey, who tries to pretend to be poor to escape from any criticism of her lifestyle and the choices that she makes. And this is very common with influencers. I know a lot of people who are like, no, you don't understand. I have to take this sponsorship. I know it's one of the worst sponsorships that you can take, but if I don't take this $20,000, I can't feed my family. And try to pretend that there's some struggling artist who doesn't have time for morals or ethics because they have to do whatever it takes just to feed their families. And it works because we all get it. You're poor, you don't have time to make moral choices and to weigh your decisions. You're just struggling to get by. That makes perfect sense. And these influencers know it. That's why they pretend so much that they're struggling, because they don't want to handle the responsibility of having wealth. They don't want to face the scrutiny of being wealthy and making certain decisions that your audience doesn't agree with. Why are you taking a sponsorship that everybody knows that is bad? Why are you going to events everybody's struggling to get by? They don't want to deal with the public perception of that, so they just pretend that they're poor. Haley Bailey is a smart woman. She graduated the top of her class in STEM. She knows how to manipulate her audience to get away with things when she wants to. It's a lot harder to escape cancellation when you're making $30,000 a month rather than a poor influencer just taking whatever sponsorship you can get. And she knows that. A recent example of this is the Watcher situation, where they try to take their new episodes off of YouTube and only have them behind a paywall on a separate streaming service, not even available to their patrons, some of who were paying $100 a month. Their excuse was that YouTube just isn't paying them enough, that they're struggling artists just struggling to get by. And anybody who does YouTube understands that that's not really true. That's kind of a lie.
A talent group, and I started that back in 2018, so I know what these deals look like. So I'm going to break the magician's code here and give you a little spitball estimate on what I think they're making per ad. With a channel of their size and their views and this style of content, I would wager a guess that each brand that appears in their content is paying between $15,000 and $35,000 a piece to be there. Now, I know that's kind of a wide ballpark. It's just hard for me to guesstimate from the sidelines what their deals might look like, because longer-term partnerships usually have discounts per slot because they've done a long-term deal, whereas like one-offs or short-term partners are paying more for like the couple of ads they're there for.
I was just thinking about this. Another influencer or another person who's on social media who's just down to earth is him. Like Pinguinzo is just like, he's just chilled and down to earth, and even his videos, it's just him and the camera. There's not like some crazy editing or anything like that. And he doesn't look like a flashy person. So yeah, it's a difference, dog. It's the difference. And people who are real and genuine, you can tell, like people like him, that he just doesn't care. He doesn't care. He doesn't want to wear like gold chains because he could. We all know that he could, but then he just doesn't.
But I'm confident that none of their brand partners are paying less than $15,000 to be on their content, and I'm pretty confident that it's probably going up to about $35K for their more one-offs or short-term deals. So they're already making tons of money through their content. They got 12,000 members on that Patreon, and some of those tiers, that's a lot of bones. You're not really in a financially struggling situation with this channel. I'm just going to lay down the brass tacks here. I saw a few people defending them, saying like, no, they have 25 employees, they need to get their bread because it's very expensive. I'm gonna peel back the curtain here real quick. I have more than 25 employees, considering I also have an esports organization which has a lot of players on it. And I'm going to tell you, since they're professional gamers, their salary is going to be significantly higher than their employees' cost. And I'm able to finance all of that completely fine through streaming. And my streaming numbers are nowhere near as lucrative as their Patreon numbers. It's not even close.
Because a lot of creators do actually
he's
turn down
exposing them.
sponsorships that are not really good for our audiences or that we don't really believe in. A creator that I really like did this recently. I'm going to play her video now.
To see that on my channel, I take on very few sponsorships. In fact, the last sponsorship I did was 2 months ago at the start of May. And whilst YouTube is my job, and it has been for like the last 9-10 years, and I do have 2 kids to pay for, and I do have to pay rent, and I do have to pay bills just like every other person on this planet, I don't take all the sponsorships that I'm offered because, number one, I don't want to ram random brands down you guys' throats because nobody would like that. Number two, I don't want to take advantage of my audience in that way. I had an offer from a brand a few months ago and they were going to pay me $10,000 to include their brand in a video, and I was like, oh my god, amazing. I was so bloody excited. We had contracts signed and everything. I had literally planned out all my content, and then just before I started filming, I stumbled across an article. Could I have used that $10,000? Absolutely. I'm currently saving up to buy a house, and if you guys know what the housing market is like in Australia, it's bonkers, and that $10,000 would have really helped us save up a deposit. But instead, I messaged my manager and I'm like, I'm so sorry, I know you've gone to a lot of effort to get this brand deal for me, but I can't work with them. Look at this article I found. I am not.
My point is that it's really easy to pretend that you're poor to get by on situations, or pretend that you're poor to extract money out of your audience.
But that's not an excuse. That's not an excuse, especially when you're an influencer making thousands and thousands of rands or of dollars. You can't pander to people who are making way less than you and say, oh no, I'm taking unethical deals, or I'm doing shady stuff for the sake of that, because those people are making way less than you and they still have like some sort of moral code. Like, it doesn't make sense. They make way less than you, and they're not stealing, they're not lying, they're not cheating, they're not doing all of these things. So you to be at that elevated position and then still make that excuse that, no, I need the money, dog. We all need the money. We all need the money. Just admit that you took a shady deal. You're shady as well, and let's keep it pushing.
It's for sympathy.
I hate. What's this? Content creators who just like blatantly put scams on their pages. I hate them.
Watch your situation. They wanted you to feel bad for them, so you would pay them more on a separate streaming service, even though they were literally getting hundreds of dollars a month from patrons from a group of people. But still, Haley Bailey and influencers who pretend to be poor for that reason aren't the worst. I say the worst for last. To me, in my opinion, the worst are people who pretend to be poor to push an agenda. Trust fundees pretending to be poor while they travel the globe, telling you can be just like them if you buy a van, not mentioning that it costs $200,000 and their parents are Wall Street bankers. Trad wives who say that you should be a stay-at-home mom and take care of your kids and never work a day in your life, while they fail to mention that their husband is some software engineer in Silicon Valley. A good example of this is this YouTuber, Mike. Mike ran a series on YouTube, Millionaire to Homeless, where he gave up all of his money and tried to become a millionaire once again. Give up your money is kind of overselling it in a way. You'll see what I mean in a second. Mike wanted to prove how it's possible for anyone to make it in life. They just needed to pick themselves up by their bootstraps and get to it and stop complaining. Regrettably though, after 10 months of pretending to be poor, he quit and went back to the life of luxury. You might be mad at the fact that I said he pretended to be poor, but in fact he was actually pretending to be poor. The problem with the challenge is that he could quit at any time and return to a luxurious lifestyle that he once had. Poor people don't really have that choice. Somebody working minimum wage job just can't get up one day and decide to quit because their mom or dad got sick. They have to deal with that burden. They have to deal with the pay. They have to deal with the surprises of life that happen.
About the project real quick, I don't know if I should keep doing it.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I don't know if I should keep doing the project.
Why don't you want to do the project anymore?
I've been thinking a lot about it, and like, I really should be helping out my dad with his business.
Yeah, but what are you going to do to help him?
My dad leaves the business is totally done. If certain things are set up now, that doesn't happen.
As soon as his father got sick with colon cancer, Mike gave up the challenge and returned to his $1 million lifestyle. I know plenty of poor people who wish they could do the same. Secondly, even if you disagree with me there, it doesn't really matter because he didn't really start off poor to begin with. He had a high-end phone.
I mean, yeah, it was for a valid reason. But the fact that that cushion was already there for him to fall back on at any time, it doesn't make whatever he was trying to prove, it didn't make sense because it's not the same. When you take risks, first of all, when he took risks, it probably wasn't as risky because he had a fallback. When you're poor and you take risks, there's nothing to fall back on. So it doesn't, and you can quit anytime. What are we talking about here?
That he could use, which a lot of homeless and poor people do not have. And he was in one of the best places to get a job and be a high income earner and to get off your feet if you fall down. There's a vast difference of being broke and homeless in New York and being broke and homeless in the middle of West Virginia when there's no civilization for hundreds of miles. New York has public transit. They have social services that help people get on their feet. They also just have millions of more people than somewhere in a rural area has, which means you have millions of more chances of somebody helping you out when you fall down on your luck.
Hey everyone, so this week I got 3 high-paying side gig jobs with no experience.
I met Isaac. He was nice enough to drive 20 minutes to pick me up and give me a place to stay. But I'm still internet, a cell phone charger, 1 pair of clothes, a bank account that is open with $0 in it.
Been homeless now for about 4 days. What am I doing? How am I finding things?
Yeah, I've been watching your videos for about 4 days and biting my tongue all the way. I especially like the one where you say that nobody should be begging for money. We should all be working because you've got arms and legs. But you arrived on a train with 50 quid in your pocket, which you by your own admittance, put yourself in that situation. I know you've had businesses you've been quite successful in, and you've done a good job, so you've got a bank account to fall back on. You could step out of this experiment any time you want.
Yeah.
You ain't got the luxury of that if you're homeless, nor have you got the luxury of a gym pass and a place to go and get a respite and some iron. You know, you got a job within 16 hours. You ain't homeless, my friend. You have not got a clue what it's like to be homeless, and you haven't.
These people are not homeless. This is a side quest. This is an adventure, and they're making content off of it, which is probably going to make them even more money. So
got nobody to lean on, nothing.
If you don't have a home address, you can't get a bank account. If you don't have a bank account, less jobs will hire you. Also, less jobs will hire you if you don't have a home address that they know where you're at. So from the very beginning, this challenge isn't really a challenge. He already had 80% of it solved by having a bank account and having a place to stay, which is why he gets so many lucky breaks in his story. He has somebody literally co-sign his apartment lease when he has zero credit. And none of that is really explored in the challenges that Mike has, and that's why he's pretending to be poor. He's just pretending to be that way to push an agenda. Unlike Haley Bailey, who pretends to be poor to sell you products, people like Mike pretend to be poor to sell you an idea.
Hi Haley, so I'm really not trying to start anything here, but that post you just made was not only highly deceptive, it was actually illegal, and I think we need to talk about it. She posted,
what did she do?
You can see in the very tippy top right corner in microscopic lettering, literally the smallest text size that TikTok would physically allow somebody to do. It says Keel's partner. So what this means is she was paid in exchange for posting a video. And this is just
what have you learned the most since starting this project? A lot of what's come to light for me is like what truly matters, which is health and gratitude. The other thing that I think I've confirmed a lot for myself is that at the end of the day, I don't care who you are, you're not a victim. As much as the world wants to tell you're a victim because of whatever reason, whether it's the color of your skin or your background or your situation, if you can believe in yourself and you can get your mindset right and bet on you, you can create whatever life it is that you want to create. I don't care.
The idea being that homeless people aren't really victims. They're just complainers who, if they just stop crying and pick themselves up by their bootstraps, they could have a decent life. Which doesn't really make sense considering he failed the challenge. Just like how trad wives try to push an agenda of anti-feminism, even though their husbands are rich and they conveniently live that out, Mike is trying to push an agenda of how all poor people are just complainers and that he doesn't need to be taxed more. And you can clearly see it by his latest post where he says, woke people try to cancel me. No, I don't think they are. Also, keep in mind one of the reasons he had to literally give up the challenge wasn't just because of his dad. He also had an autoimmune thing going on and he was too sick to continue the challenge, which is fair. Like, you can't control your own body. Like, I get it. But for you not to even self-reflect of like normal people who have to go through that, normal people who can't quit their jobs and just still come out and say, oh, you guys are just being victims. If you try hardest, oh, you can do whatever you want. And oh, it's only woke people trying to cancel me. It's like clear that you didn't go into this challenge with like your eyes open, like you already had an agenda and you only made the video to push it.
How long have you been out here?
Since 2010.
It's a long time.
Yep.
What happened?
I got hit by a trailer, come off a truck. I was doing 45, broke my back in 4 places, and broke my ankle. So since then I've just been out of work.
No disability?
It's been hard. I'm even on a listing and I still can't even get approved. I was walking the street and the lady didn't have no insurance, so I couldn't sue her. So.
Oh my gosh. So you just got hit and you can't work, but you can't get disability.
Well, I can, but it's taking forever.
Oh, so it's just being delayed. They always deny it the first time.
Yeah, it's been like 5 years.
Oh my gosh. What would you want normal people, housed people, to know about homelessness that they probably don't know?
They're just one paycheck away.
In your case, just one accident away.
Yep.
Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video.
Crazy. The fact that, one small mistake. I think that's I saw this other meme. It says define middle class, and middle class basically means one small mistake you're back to poverty, and that hits. And he just said that it could be any one of us. But then this was an interesting video. I really enjoyed it. Influencers do pretend to be poor and pretend to be like one of the normal people, and we can see through them. We can see through the fake ones. We can see through the ones who are genuine. So at the end of the day, we're gonna call you out. But then that's it for this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.